can listen to us. So we will continue. Here, Info System Jet stand or booth. Everybody can play and listen to play different games, and they actually have a very big photo booth with balloons, but not now, not right now. Once you go around, once you see Infosystem Jet, you can go and taste a little bit of ice cream. But now, if you want to go and achieve this cybersecurity expert level, we'll be talking about the concept of autonomous learning for cybersecurity, because autonomous learning is very important. It's all about self-education, and we will invite a real expert, Makar Lyakhnov, product owner from Positive Technologies.
Сломал мне руку. Нормально. Сам крепкий. Так, Макар, перед началом...
Makar, you look like a tough guy. And just before we start, we have a question.
Можно назвать? Вот ты product owner, да? Тебя можно назвать?
You are a product owner. Can somebody call you a hacker? Well, not really. Hacker is a creative profession, so to say. We develop a product that will help both hackers and incident response specialists. Hacker is once again, it's a creative profession. You need to have a certain mindset, and you will always be this person looking for adventure. Yeah, I think everybody from Positive Technologies, especially information security, can be called hackers in the sense that they can act in non-normal, non-standard way. And finally, we are moving to the edutainment technologies by Makar Lyakhnov. Once again, hi everyone. We'll talk about self-education for cybersecurity. A few words. I'm the developer of this exercise. I was living in this life. First you're on the red team, then you're on the blue team, then you try to analyze this story from both sides and look for solutions. And as a result, I ended up in the purple team. We analyze something, we respond to these incidents, and this is the concept of purple team. We also took part in different standoffs, Olympiads, contests, competitions, and so on. From all those years of experience, we decided to create a tool. It's not really just a training tool, but you can use it without an educator, without a professor. So let's take a look at how it started. First, we have about 50,000 people. We lack about 50,000 people in the cybersecurity sector, and it will only increase. Next, we do not have any practical knowledge. So when we're talking about universities, and it's probably the pain point of all the Russian universities, students do not get practical knowledge. They get a lot of useless theory. You need practice to become an expert. I need to have practical knowledge, not understanding of how these might be relevant. I want to learn how to work with defensive measures, the defensive tools right here, right now. I want to learn how to hack it. I want to learn how it can be hacked. I don't really care about these philosophical things which go for years in universities, and it's really a big pain point. When we study, we depend on professors, on universities. If your professor knows something, they can tell you. If they do not want to talk about this, they might choose not to do so because maybe they don't care. One of our professors played tanks online instead of actually teaching us, and I don't really care about this. Or someone just was playing a mobile video game, and you can do this, but I don't really want my professor to be doing it. I want to use contemporary knowledge. I want to learn about zero-day. I want to learn about attacks which are used right now. I don't really care about the legacy attacks which happened in the 18th century. You don't really care about what happened before. This is very old. This is legacy. You don't need this right here, right now. Maybe I want to learn about this later, but not now. So I want to learn from modern professors, and I want to acquire modern knowledge, language, and knowledge. And people can study in different time, not just from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Maybe I want to learn during the night. Maybe I want to learn during the evening. Maybe I just don't have an open window to study during the day. And if I have 10, 15 minutes here, 1 hour there, I can choose and I can study. And it's very difficult for me to find time to study otherwise. Let's take a look what we have now. Basic, different technologies, so we have the normal education at university, the best top universities, ITMO, Innopolis, Moscow Physical Technical Institute. You have cyber ranges, you have really good professors. You have online bachelor's degree, you have online master's degree, and it's really good when you can learn online and different time, but still you depend on the professor.
Ровно определенный промежуток времени и зависимость от преподавателя. Вот, круто.
Next.
На самом деле говоря. Асинхронные курсы, вот это уже интереснее. Когда мы приходим...
Synchronous courses where you also depend on the professor, and we can choose different time when we want to learn. And obviously you will not get reply on midnight or maybe 2 a.m. Sometimes it happens, but usually people do not respond during the night, even though you can understand that the person is very zealous about learning this new technology. You use different tools, Canvas, but that's just basically the platform for your system, for your courses. They can be uploaded to Moodle, tutors, and say it doesn't really matter. But you can have different online platforms. You will not learn if you do not learn from your mistakes. So you solve a problem, you don't really understand how you solve it, and you need really to understand how it works. There are people who don't understand right up, and you need this explanation. So you need the explanation from the person who went through this before, so that they have this experience. Cyber ranges, standoff, hug-based, cyber mirror, cyber polygon, range force, and so on. But cyber ranges are just virtual structures that emulate real processes. It's infrastructure. You cannot study this. It doesn't really give you practical knowledge. And finally, there are cloud platforms, Skillbox, Geekbrains, Skill Factory. Well, maybe, but not for cybersecurity. Finally, autonomous education, limitless education. The student is the person who is responsible for his or her education. And the main goal is that the knowledge is automatically checked, and when you learn only through the real-time modern cases, and when you can choose your time. If we take a look previously, what was autonomous education, self-education before? This is the time, this is the approach when the student is responsible for his or her education, and the person who can learn whatever and whenever they want to do this. So, for example, they can choose a few of the courses. Maybe they need some parts of cryptography, but they do not need 100% of cryptography. And you choose too much information, so you don't really need all that information. So when we're talking about autonomous information, is not to say I do not need a professor, I do not need a teacher. This is not what I'm saying. What I mean is that in this case, your professor, your teacher becomes your mentor. You are not explained in details
Темп обучения
what you have to do, like what happens in university. They give you the track,
будет автономное обучение.
they
Практически
keep you
направлено
intact,
только реальные
and they
кейсы.
help you move. And
Кейсы
obviously
70%
only
будет
on
только
real
тогда у нас
cases.
будет прям хорошее
70%
индивидуальное
practice,
обучение.
30%
Должен
theory.
выбрать то, что он захочет.
It is very important for the person to choose what they want to do.
Подход к обучению
There are
всегда должен быть
multiple modules, and you pick and select what you want to learn, and you basically compile your own education. And we also need the same approach to the same education. So we basically have the same program, we have the same specialty, but for some reason, different universities, they have different levels of education, even though the approach is the same.
Разрабатывая и должен разрабатывать только
Next,
из профильных
only
компаний.
experts
Здесь сейчас без привязки
from
к
a
преподавателю.
profile company
У нас не
should
может преподаватель
provide
нормально. Если он не
the practical experience. If it's not a practical expert, if it's just a professor, if it's just a teacher at the university who only read
материал может сделать только
your lectures, they will not be able to create really useful
что-то. И тогда это будет хорошее
practical cases.
обучение.
Only then it will be good and useful education for any topic, but obviously including cybersecurity.
Мы ограничены либо
Scaling,
преподавателями, либо
we
ресурсами.
are limited by resources and by teachers.
Основное обучение в
In
кибербезе,
most cases, by both.
именно кибербезу. Постоянно появление
When we're talking about self-education and cybersecurity,
сотни раз
we have new threats every day, hundreds of new threats all the time. That is why
боевой, настоящий,
these materials have to be updated all the time.
с реальными инструментами и инфраструктурой.
We need to work with real tools, with real infrastructure.
В кибербезе я хочу учиться.
Sure, the free time is very limited, and because of that, I want to study whenever I can, so it should be available 24/7.
Не все преподаватели.
There is a lack of teachers with expertise. As I said, not everyone understands what they have to do, usually simply because of the lack of experts. And we want one or a few experts to do
Каждый раз
with this material, and then we scale it up, not redo multiple times in different universities so that they have different versions. You want to take a few really good experts, they create practical materials, and then you scale it up to different universities. People who study have to understand what exactly happens and why they do, why. So, for example, they solve the problem and they don't really understand why they solved the problem. Or maybe they made a mistake. They need to understand thoroughly what happened and why this happened. So only then they will be able to learn from their own mistakes. And that's why we're able to create a simulator, an ecosystem for self-education for cybersecurity experts, where you get this feedback, you get commentary from experts, and you can choose the time when you want to learn, and only when you need this education. So, for example, you want to take this module and you get information, but you can decide and not choose that module, and you will not get that information from that from the program. It's the whole ecosystem. It's not just a testing range, it's not just a range. So as I said, cyber range is a virtual environment. It's an infrastructure, that's all. You can use it as a tool, but it's not exactly the place to learn. A platform, you can upload theory, but it's lacking practice. When we're talking about online platforms, that's actually better because you have the combination of theory and practice, but usually you have limited infrastructure, or you as a developer, you'll be wasting a lot of resources to maintain this platform, and you will not be able to deploy this infrastructure for each single student. In our case, we use this simulator, and you can use real life tools. So how can we use it? We can use it for blue teaming, red teaming, and purple teaming. In this case, first we understand hacker mindset. We realize how they hack. Once we understand how they hack, we can do useful incident response and incident investigation. Suppose we have only one information protection tool, and we
Допустим,
try to see the reverse connection. Maybe it was connected to one of the ports. How do we know if they increased the privileges or not? If they escalated the privileges or not? If they tried to use the reverse connection to the port using Linux, then we need escalated privileges. Still, this is what malicious users do. Once we understand how hackers want to get into the system, we will be able to learn from both blue team and from red team. Only then we will be a really good blue team member if we learn from hackers. A few words about EdTech Lab. So first we start with blue team on the synthetic traffic. Then we work with red teaming. We provide them with infrastructure. We give them access with practice, with knowledge, and they try to analyze this information. Next, blue. In real time, they are generated with databases. You need infrastructure, and the blue team members have to get inside and analyze certain incidents, and they have to control everything here. And finally, extended version, where we have both blue and red, when there is infrastructure, when red can hack something, and when it can be investigated at the same time. And this is where we become purple team professionals, people who can both hack and protect. But it's not just a person who can be on either side. It's actually a blue team member who knows how red team people act, and they know how to counteract it.
As I'm at the end of my presentation, I'd like to talk about the Meta platform for autonomous learning. We are in the process of designing it. So what we have today is, everyone knows that there is LMS, NGE, and that's a number of modern formats for learning. And then there is the new concept that we came up with, educate. That's a good thing, but what we want to go for is Mako, the universal platform for comprehensive learning in the domain of cybersecurity. We've compiled many modules into this one engine. Why do we need that? Because it looks like we have LMS, NGE, NGDLE, Mako, and we have one course as a basic unit of these platforms. So we upload courses there, and it looks like this is LMS is just a storage of courses. LGE is a gamified format of digital courses as well. NGDLE, this is a system of different courses already. And when this system came about, many universities already had their LMS, and the idea was to bring them together. It's an interesting concept, although it hasn't evolved fully, but there, indeed, you have different systems connected. And then Mako came about. And there, indeed, different systems are integrated within one platform where you can test out different solutions. And there, as we go on, we add solutions to scale it, solutions up. And there were different ideas, for instance, to add blockchains there. And then we can add, for instance, an e-mentor, a digital mentor who can take some charge of a real expert, and real experts only take questions that AI cannot find an answer to. And people do not get questions at 3 a.m., for instance. I don't want to do that, and I don't want other people to be spending time on that. I want to have an AI bot who will direct people to the places they try to find. Or, for instance, if people struggle with, I don't know, simple tasks, there, again, AI can be of great help, and the majority of requests will be indeed filtered by that AI mentors and experts will be less charged. And that will make them more involved in the teaching process. They will only be answering the questions that are of value.
Каких вопросов
Да, никаких
к
вопросов.
тому
Right. No questions to
назвали Макара настоящий
how it is presented.
красава. Поаплодируйте, пожалуйста.
Thanks so much. Wasn't that talk wonderful? Makar Letkov, you know, he even moved in a way the athletes moved. Probably you went in for boxing some time ago. Yes, I did. Well, that's the
Российского
person fully impersonating the Russian cybersec.
ребята.
Cybersec is not just a word. These are really hard and tough guys, and they're especially tough in their brain, and I really had hard times coping up with you. And I'm a teacher of the old school, and every time I was actually coming to the university, indeed, many times I found my time there boring because I really like practical things. I like going practical. And
Потому что у меня было
for instance,
на практике.
I had German as my foreign language, and there were only 2 of us speaking German in my group, and I went to the university in Germany later, and you reminded me of those times. And how old are you, actually? I'm 22. 22. I'm 22, and in our team we have people of 19 and 20. They are young, they're inspired. Here they are, actually. Right, here they are. It's not for nothing that... why are they sitting on blue bags? Why they are not sitting on purple bags?
Немножко бонусов вперед. Вы уже очень
Well, if you are sitting on the purple bag, you already receive some bonuses. Thank you for your firm handshake. You can ask more questions of Makar behind the stage. Please go practical. Don't ask them silly questions.
таким макаром вперед, будущее кибербеза.
And indeed, that's